The endoplasmic reticulum is usually of two types depending on the presence and the absence of the ribosomes. There are some organelles which work individually, which function individually. They do not coordinate with one another. So such organelles are called as the non-endomembrane system. Major portion of the space inside a plant cell is occupied by the vacuole. In amoeba, the vacuole that are present are called as the contractile vacuole. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to another session on chapter 8, that is Cell, the Unit of Life. I'm Dr. Divya, Biology faculty, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore, Temple of Excellence. So in the previous session, we had studied about the eukaryotic cell, wherein I told you about the differences or the organelles that are present inside the plant cell and the animal cell, both which are eukaryotes. And we studied about the cell envelopes of the eukaryotic cell, wherein we studied about the plasma membrane and the cell wall and what are the components that are present, or what is the plasma membrane and the cell wall made up of. We also studied about the fluid mosaic model and all that. In today's session, inner to the plasma membrane, in the cytoplasm, there are distributed various cell organelles, which are one of the characteristic features of the eukaryotic cell, as they are not present in the prokaryotic cells. So, what are the different organelles we shall study today? Some of the organelles we will study today, and the rest of them we'll study in the coming session. So, to begin with, we shall start with the endomembrane system. So, endomembrane system, the organelles or the components that are present inside the membrane. So, what are those different components of the organelles? We shall see. So, there are various membranous organelles, membranous. So, almost all the organelles are membranous, that is, they are covered by a membrane. Only the ribosomes are non-membranous, that is, they are not covered by a membrane. So, the membranous organelles, they have various functions and they coordinate with each other in order to perform the functions, and they are considered together as an endomembrane system. So, I had given you the example of endoplasmic reticulum. It coordinates with the Golgi complex, or the ribosomes coordinates with the endoplasmic reticulum. So, therefore, all the organelles, they form a coordinated system in the fluid matrix, and they are called as the endomembrane system. So, what are the different types of organelles that are present? We have membranous organelles. There is the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi complex, the lysosomes, and the vacuoles. And since the function of the mitochondria, the chloroplast, and the peroxisome, they are not coordinated, they are considered as a part of the endomembrane system. They are not considered as a part of the endomembrane system. So, system means a computer system. If I say a computer, in a computer, the keyboard coordinates with the computer, the mouse coordinates with the computer, the CPU coordinates with the computer, right? So, that forms a system there. It is a computer system. It forms a system, overall system. Just like that here, few of the organelles coordinate with each other. That is, the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi complex, the lysosomes and vacuoles coordinate with one another to perform a function, to perform a normal activity. So, therefore, they are called as the endomembrane system. And there are some organelles which work individually, which function individually. They do not coordinate with one another. So, such organelles are called as the non-endomembrane system. Or we can say not non-endomembrane, we can say they are not considered as a part of the endomembrane system. So, you have to be careful. If at all a question comes, what are the different organelles that constitute an endomembrane system? Then it is the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi complex, and the lysosomes and the vacuole. But whereas the mitochondria, the chloroplast, and the peroxisome, they function individually. Say for example, chloroplast. Chloroplasts do not function along with any of the other organelle. Why? Because only in the chloroplast the chlorophyll pigment will be there, and its only function is to synthesize or photosynthesize, help in photosynthesis. They do not play any role in the activity of the other cells. So that is why they do not form a part of the non-endomembrane system. So this is about the endomembrane system. So next, moving on to studying in detail about each of the organelles that are present inside the eukaryotic cell. So to begin with, we shall start with the endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum, reticulate, remember in plants they have a reticulate venation, means they form a network. So therefore, endoplasmic reticulum means endo, inside. It is present inside towards the plasma membrane and it forms a network or reticulum. Reticulum means network. It forms a network or reticulum of tiny tubular structures which are scattered in the cytoplasm. So in the cytoplasm, you can see network of tiny tubular structures or folded structures that are present here and there in the cytoplasm, which is called as the endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum, it actually divides the intercellular space into two distinct compartments, that is the luminal, which is the inside of the endoplasmic reticulum, and the extraluminal, which is the cytoplasmic compartment. So here what happens? Why are there compartments being produced? Because there is folding. Right. Inner compartment is the cytoplasmic compartment and the external compartment is the luminal compartment. That is, inside towards the endoplasmic reticulum is the luminal compartment and the cytoplasm towards the cytoplasm forms the external luminal compartment. And the endoplasmic reticulum is usually of two types depending on the presence and the absence of the ribosomes. So one is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So if the ribosomes are attached to the outer surface of the endoplasmic reticulum, it is called as the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So you can see here ribosomes. So here the ribosomes are attached. Therefore, it is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So rough endoplasmic reticulum is observed in the cells actively involved in protein synthesis and secretion. Why they are actively involved in protein synthesis and secretion? Because they are covered on the outer surface by the ribosomes. That is why. And they are extensive and they are continuous with the other membrane of the nucleus. So as you can see, here the nucleus is being present and they extend with the nucleus, but the smooth endoplasmic reticulum does not extend from the nucleus, membrane of the nucleus. So that is the difference. So next, talking about the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Here there is no presence of the ribosome, or the absence of the ribosome, they appear smooth. That is why they are called as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. As you can see, they don't have ribosomes on their surface. That is why it is called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and they are the major sites of synthesis of lipids. So the main function of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is to synthesize protein, and the main function of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is to synthesize lipid. Therefore, the function of the endoplasmic reticulum is to synthesize the proteins and the lipids. And in animal cells, the lipid-like steroidal hormones are also synthesized by the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So, if the endoplasmic reticulum that is present inside the animal cell, that is a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they are, apart from synthesizing lipids, they also function in synthesizing one particular hormone called as the lipid-like steroidal hormone. So, this is the function of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So next, moving on to the Golgi apparatus. So Golgi apparatus was actually discovered by a scientist named Camillo Golgi in the year 1898. So as the name itself says, Camillo Golgi. So the name Golgi apparatus was given based on the name of this particular scientist, that is Camillo Golgi, who first observed some densely stained reticular structure. Here also reticular, they are network-like. So that is why they are called as the reticular structures. So densely stained reticular structures were found near the nucleus, and these Golgi apparatus, they consist of many flat disc-shaped sacs. So they are like this, like sac-like, many flat disc-shaped sacs they are made up of. So they are reticulate in nature. They are made up of disc-shaped sacs and which are called as cisternae. So this is called as the cisternae. and the size is about 0.5 micrometer to 1 micrometer in diameter. And these cisternae are stacked parallel to each other. As you can see, they are stacked parallel to each other. So like this, parallelly they are stacked to each other, and there are varied number of cisternae are present in the Golgi complex. It is not that if there is about 3 or 4 Golgi complex inside a cell, the number of cisternae that is formed varies. It is not always the same. And the Golgi cisternae are concentrically arranged near the nucleus with distinct convexes or the forming face and concave trans. So they look like a concave and a convex side, that is a slightly bulged and a flat side. So they look like as if it is a cis trans and a concave trans. And the cis and the trans faces of the organelle is entirely different, but still they are interconnected to one another. So here, as you can see, they are made up of sac-like structures called as the cisternae, and they are reticulate in nature. They form a network, and they are present near the nucleus. So this is the Golgi apparatus. So the main function of the Golgi apparatus is to package the materials to be delivered. So what this Golgi apparatus does is, whatever lipids and proteins are synthesized by the endoplasmic reticulum, that will be received by the Golgi apparatus. The further process will be done by the Golgi apparatus, and it will be secreted outside of the cells for various proper biological activities to take place. So the main function is, it helps in packaging the materials that has to be delivered early to the intercellular targets or secreted outside the cell, so that the other functioning of the cell can take place normally. And the Golgi apparatus, it usually remains in close association with the endoplasmic reticulums. Why? Because whatever material has to be packaged by the Golgi apparatus comes from the endoplasmic reticulum. That is why. And packaged in the form of vesicles from the endoplasmic reticulum. That is why it always keeps a close association with the endoplasmic reticulum. And the cisternae, that is the folded disc-shaped structures that are present in the Golgi apparatus, they help in the modification of a number of proteins synthesized by the ribosomes that are present on the endoplasmic reticulum before they are released from its trans phase. So here, that is why it remains with a close association with the endoplasmic reticulum. So this rough endoplasmic reticulum, it will synthesize the protein. So whatever proteins have been synthesized by the ribosomes on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, that will be collected by the Golgi apparatus. It will be further processed, and then it will be released from the trans phase. Therefore, it will be released out of the cell. Therefore, the proteins can be utilized for normal biological activities. And the Golgi apparatus is one of the important site for the formation of glycoproteins and glycolipids. So it will receive the proteins and the lipids, convert them to glycoproteins and glycolipids. So therefore, they are one of the important components of the synthesis or formation of glycoproteins and glycolipids. So this is the function of the Golgi apparatus. So next, moving on to the lysosomes. So lysosomes, they are membrane-bound vesicular structures, means they are covered by a membrane, and they are formed by the process of packaging in the Golgi apparatus. So during the process of packaging that takes place in the Golgi apparatus, these lysosomes are actually formed, and the lysosome vesicles, they are rich in almost all types of hydrolytic enzymes such as the hydrolases, the lipases, the proteases, carbohydrases. All these are produced by the lysosomes, and they are always active even at the acidic pH. So they can tolerate even the acidic pH or the environment, and therefore they are active in the acidic pH. And these enzymes are capable of digesting carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acid. So I had told you the major function of the lysosome acts like a digestive organelle. Why? Because it helps in digestion of the carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids, and release the digested product so that it can be utilized for various purposes. And apart from this, lysosomes also have various functions, such as they help in repair of damaged cells. All that also is performed by the lysosome. So you can see here the lysosome, it is made up of a lipid layer, and also it produces a lot of hydrolytic enzymes, and it has a membrane. So membrane which is made up of a lipid bilayer, and it has a glycosylated membrane which helps in the transport of the protein. So the main function is to transport the proteins and lipids, and also in the production of this vesicles of lysosome, it is rich in hydrolytic enzymes such as the hydrolases, the lipases, proteases, carbohydrases, etc. So these are the main functions of the lysosome. So next, moving on to the vacuoles. So vacuoles, they are the membrane bound space found in the cytoplasm. They are empty, they are vacuole. They are membrane bound spaces that are found in the cytoplasm. Especially we can find the vacuoles in the plant cells, and they contain water, sap, excretory product, and other materials that are not useful for the cell. So they help in the storage of water, sap, excretory product, and other materials. So vacuoles, since this also help in the storage of the excretory product, they actually prevent the contamination of other organelles of the cell. So this is one of the main function of the vacuoles, and they are bound by a single membrane called as the tonoplast. So the membrane that covers the vacuole is called as the tonoplast. So all these are membrane bound organelles, and they are they form the endomembrane system. What are they? They are the endoplasmic reticulum, the lysosome, the vacuoles, and all the Golgi body. These four are the membrane bound organelles, and they form a component of the endomembrane system. So vacuoles in plant cells, they are usually found. So in plant cell, vacuole occupies about 90% of the volume of the plant cell. As you can see, major portion of the space inside a plant cell is occupied by the vacuole and the tonoplast. So tonoplast is the membrane of the vacuole. The tonoplast helps in the transport of a large number of ions that are present in the solutes. It helps in the transport, and also it helps in the transport of other materials against the concentration gradient into the vacuole, that is against the concentration gradient from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. Hence their concentration is significantly higher in the vacuole when compared to that of the cytoplasm. Why? Because they are filled with all sorts of the materials, and they also help in the transport of number of ions and other materials against the concentration gradient. So this is the important function of the vacuole. So next, talking about the vacuole in amoeba. So in amoeba, the vacuole that are present are called as the contractile vacuole. Contractile vacuole is very important in amoeba for osmoregulation, that is for maintenance of the fluid inside, and also for the excretion process. So in amoeba, these vacuoles, that is food vacuoles that are present, and also contractile vacuoles are present. The main function of the contractile vacuole is to maintain osmoregulation and also to help in the process of excretion. In protist also there are vacuoles being present. So in protist, the food vacuoles are formed by engulfing the food particles. So the protistants, they engulf the food particles. So when they engulf or feed on the food particle, the vacuoles will be created. So you can see the food vacuole in the protistants and also the contractile vacuole in the protistants. So these are the different types of vacuoles that are present in amoeba and protistants. So I hope you understood the session wherein we discussed about the endomembrane system, and I told you in eukaryotes there is a endomembrane system and a non-endomembrane system, or some of the organelles do not belong to the endomembrane system. So those organelles which belong to the endomembrane system are the membranous organelles such as the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi bodies, the lysosome, and the vacuoles, which we have studied in today's session. So in the coming session we shall discuss about the organelles which do not form a component of the endomembrane system, such as the mitochondria, the chloroplast, and the peroxisome. About all that we shall study in detail in the coming session. So we shall meet in the coming session. Thank you.